It's me.
Hey, you guys. It's your girl, Latanya, host of Infused Queen Tea Podcast. And we are back with another episode. Pew, 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 pew. I know it's been a while. Let's go ahead and get into it. It's been a while since like the last episode. And I know, the last solo episode, not my cloudy conversations. If you haven't got a chance, check out the series and get into it. I ain't gonna talk about that right now though. I need to get into this little reality check for this week, So at the end of the month, I've been starting to do reality checks with myself just to kind of like check in to see where I've been or where what have I learned, what have I gathered, and all the good shit, for the phases in the season from the month, and listen, the reality checks are necessary, okay? Like, I started doing reality checks with myself, like, probably starting in July of this year. And now it's October, or coming up into October. And listen, I got the gems. I got the tea. I got what you need, okay? All right, so let's get into it. I feel like I didn't even introduce the podcast or even do it right. I introduced myself and got into it. But welcome to Infused Queen Tea Podcast, where we talk about personal development, entrepreneurship, and all things cannabis. Okay. And I originally started this podcast back in 2021. And when I was originally doing it, I was just like, the intention was to basically interview different entrepreneurs and basically get their journey, get their authentic take on where they were currently in entrepreneurship, and then also like just kind of share like their personal stuff, like what brought them to it, what their like future endeavors was with it and everything. And when I originally started, like, I remember that the intention was to basically interview all genres and all industries of entrepreneurs, but for whatever reason, I was high-key attracted to the fucking music industry. Not the music industry per se, like I want to be a part of that, but like basically the journey of different key players in the music industry, meaning like the artist, the producer, the engineer, the manager, like all these intricate parts, the executive, like label executive, all those parts were like separate, like basically jobs or titles. And everyone had their own story of how they came about, even like the redirection and stuff. So when I first started it, like we would always have like different musicians on. And I remember I enjoyed it, but it was like, I felt like I was like limiting myself. And then I also felt like I was being like, I was just doing it to do it. It wasn't really something I was being passionate about. I felt like I wasn't actually putting my foot down when I said like what my intention was, all because of opportunities, like especially when you're new to something. It's like you're so excited about every opportunity that you get that you like just jump into it, like just head fucking first, right? Sometimes I think that your creativity is going to carry you, and yes, creativity is like the part of it, but like, baby, you need a foundation, and baby, you need boundaries. Boundaries and foundation kind of go hand in hand. All right, so when I originally started, I was interviewing musicians, and I would get to interview a few vendors, like at the pop-up markets I would be working at. But I felt like it's like one of those things where I was learning early in podcasting that not every interview that you do is going to come out or should come out. Okay, that's for the podcast babes out there that are getting into that. That's something I had to learn fast, because I want to tell you, like, the whole entire first season, some of them episodes I didn't want to put on, but I'm just sharing this because this is the authentic, like, my journey with podcasting, where I'm at and why the fuck y'all see me now and what we about to get into and what y'all are going to be expecting from the queen. So I just remember I had took a break. Like, basically life made me take a big break. Like, personal life made me take a break for a while, and it made me realize I had to basically go into this redirection phase. And I'm somebody that is not like, I don't like change. Like, sorry, I will fight it, and then once I finally accept it, I'll act like I've been a part of it. Like, yeah, I've been wanting to change. Like, cap a lot, okay? Hate change. So I just remember I slowed the fuck down, and I just was like, well, I'm not going to put these episodes out. And then some of the people I was working with, it took like one person that just kind of was like, came to me and tried to tell me what I was going to do, right? And I was just like, boundaries is weak as fuck. Let's start there. Boundaries is weak, but I was just kind of like, you know what? Nah, nigga. Sorry. Nah. Human, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. Like, we don't align. What I want to do and what you're wanting to portray does not align. And for that time, I didn't stand up for myself, like, at all. I ended up, I think I did the podcast, but then I didn't put it out. And like, that was like one of the last episodes, like, where I just was done. Like, I stopped mid-season. I did get over like 7 episodes. I want to say I had like 14 episodes recorded, but I don't even know if I put everything out, or when I did put them out, they were all like on Spotify, like not a YouTube version of them. But fast forward, your girl was like, you know what, I want to do podcasting again. And this time I went into it more wanting to establish a foundation, like wanted to establish a schedule, business operations. How do I want to run it every day? What does it look like? What if I want to bring people on? What positions do I need? And then what would their day-to-day look like? And what do I actually need with the podcast, instead of just hiring a team to have a team? Because, like, to be for real, a lot of us, we don't need a team to start out. Like, you really fucking don't. Like, that's another day. I just remember I finally wanted to get back into podcasting, and at the time, not everybody was out with podcasting. So this is maybe like, I want to say 2022, early 2022, I was ready to get back into it. And I noticed that the people who were being successful, they all either had a full team. I'm talking production team, all that, right? Even had a place to shoot. And then I would also study the fact that they all had co-hosts or they all had guests, right? Like, a lot of them never actually just sat there and free spoke or made their podcast about them. And I just remember feeling like maybe that's where I was going wrong at. Like, maybe I needed someone, maybe I needed a team, maybe I need all these things. I need the place to shoot. I need all these fucking things, right? I'm thinking I need all that stuff. And I'm very much a perfectionist. Like, I know a lot of my peoples out there, all my good souls out there, y'all struggle with the same thing. Like, where you kind of don't want to release anything until you have everything aligned correctly. And sometimes that's not wrong to be very intentional about your steps. But then sometimes you have to realize, like, are you really operating out of the fact that you're being intentional, or are you hindering yourself and using you being intentional as an excuse not to show up for yourself? Yeah. Let's talk about it, say so. Okay. So, I basically decided that I was going to bring on a co-host, but I also am very, 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 very particular about how I want things, and I don't like to I like to share and basically build and collaborate with people, but because I had been burnt so many times in that near future at that time, or in the near past at that time, I only was kind of forcing myself to collaborate just because I felt like I had to, not because I wanted to and not because I needed to, right? And I remember I would try to find all these co-hosts, I would find all these guests, I would reach out to all these people, but I realized that when I was reaching out, it was out of a lack mindset. It really wasn't out of what my passion was. It wasn't driven by my actual intention. I was kind of just doing it because I felt like I was being left behind in the world. And when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes it feels like you're being left behind in your industry. Like, it doesn't matter how much you study, how much you work, how much you try to be creative. It just feels like sometimes you're not where the fuck you want to be, and everyone is where you want to be. But that's not really the reality of things. Like, everything that we see is sometimes a personification or a perspective or perception that is being like televised through the media that's not true or authentic, right? And so I just remember going through this thing of trying to get guests, going through it, finding a host, shooting a few episodes, but then like it would be conflicting schedules. And then the co-host I wanted, she lives out of town. So it was kind of like, how can we show up together as a brand if like technically we didn't have the funds and the things like that to do those things, right? And so I went through another redirection. I said, all right, it's time to step back. And I want to say that's something I'm glad that I learned in my journey. When I had originally started Queen Bob's Boutique, it was sometimes you fail at shit, but that's just only a reason to redirect what you're doing. Like, a lot of times I would get hung up on the fact that I failed, that I didn't realize that, like, oh, if you just would have tweaked the plan, because now you know what's wrong. Tweak the plan, make it happen, show the fuck up, do what you gotta do. And if it fails again, it's okay. Now you have another like experiment to go from, right? So I remember I was okay redirected and I stepped back, but then I started getting more frustrated with myself because I'm seeing how everybody's being consistent and how I want it to be, right? And I'm very much, I study and I will like watch the people that I want to become like, or they have a lot of qualities and characteristics about themselves, or they're professionals or seem like kind of masters in whatever industry I'm trying to get into. And so I remember I had this thing where I was like comparing myself, and like I would say I'm studying, but I was hella comparing myself, and I would be so frustrated, right? So then I would either for longer like procrastinate. I love to procrastinate. I'm a procrastinating queen, y'all, and I'm working on that. That is something I work on every day, because I procrastinate whenever it's like beneficial to me. I'll wait till the last minute, but I'll get it done, and it'll be how I want it done the first time, and I don't get any complaints. But it's like, but why do all that and then be stressed and all the other shit that comes with that, right? So ew, drop that habit. It's not cute. We're not procrastinating that well. Get that procrastination off your shoulder, right? So fast forward, I go through the break, I'm doing the redirection, and this time I'm like, you know what, you're not making no money, or if you're not trying to figure out how to monetize this to create like this longevity, this empire that you need, and with the empire you require funds, right? Why are you not trying to actually monetize off it, of what you're doing? Like, what makes what you're doing not valuable enough to make money and to generate income from, right? Like, it's my gift. I love to talk. I love to tell stories, and I'm good as fuck at it, right? So why not? And I just remember deciding that I needed to have a schedule. I needed to start setting actual goals that aligned with like what the mission was, and be slow about the goals. Like, I get far-fetched fast as hell. Like with manifestations, I'm learning how to have boundaries, because I'm learning that there's very much a power in manifestation. When you manifest things, sometimes we think that we're ready to receive what we're asking for. And we might be mentally prepared. But we might be mentally prepared, but then like in the physical, our reality does not align with it, meaning the people that we have in our life does not align with it. The actions that we have doesn't align with what we're speaking on, meaning you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to run your own business, but then you don't even give your business any time. Like, you don't give it any attention. You don't set time aside to work on that, even though you have all these other things going on. Because to me, even when you put that little seed of like a 30-minute day's work into what you want, in your reality, you're basically showing up and teaching yourself how you would want to show up. and you're going to learn the lessons that you need to learn specifically for you. Not like sometimes we like to study so many different people and watch people live their life, but we never really sit down and just realize that the lessons that we are going through are only essential for us because they fit our trauma, they fit what phase we're in, they fit the people that's in our life that we don't want to let go, they fit the ideologies, like the shit you go through fit you, right? And it's only catered to you. Like, I know I used to get upset because I feel like no one understood my experience, but there are people who had similar experiences, but the emotions that were tied, the trauma that was tied, the fears that were tied to it were dedicated to my black ass, like, just being honest. And so I just remember saying I was going to set these boundaries. I set like 3 goals a month for each of my ventures, and I would just try to target them. And even if I don't, I put them on there for the next month and put first attempt, second attempt. And instead of me being mad about the attempts it takes, I focus more on the fact that, like, hey, you had tried, and like, how many times did you try? And then when I finally get it, it's like, sis, you realize like what timeline you work on. So yeah, it might have took you 6 tries, but what was the lesson in them 6 tries that you were missing that it took you on the 6th try to get? Okay, so now you're starting to learn how to navigate other issues. So it's like when you start to realize that a lot of your current circumstances are cycles that repeat themselves from your past, you're going to start looking at, oh shit, I've done this before. I've been through this. These are different people, same situation. How did I show up last time that I didn't like? Let me show up differently. Or maybe I show up too much and I need to learn to step back. And even stepping back makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. So I need to start trying to figure out why it makes me feel wrong to step back when I'm not right. Like, this is why it's a reality check. Let me stop. Being real, like, these are the things that I've been pondering on, not only just for the month of September, but like in general. I've been going through these seasons like the last 3 years, but the phase that I'm currently talking about, that redirection, being comfortable with the redirection, understanding your cycles and knowing what's not serving you anymore and what does serve you, and starting to take time to understand why maybe a certain situation in business or your life has triggered you, I feel like all that is important, and you're going through it for a reason. So why go through it again next month when retrograde decides to, show her nice little vibration, Let's not wait, Let's go ahead and be ready, because I be ready now. Like, there's certain cycles that I know that I haven't tackled, that I'd be like, you go show up and I'm gonna be ready this time. And then when I be getting 2-piece by the universe, I be like, it's okay. Lit fat in a mug. It's okay. I got you next time. Maybe not, but I might. So, fast forward. It's now about like by my birthday. It's my 30th birthday this year, or I had passed August 20th. We okay. I just remember forcing myself, saying I wanted to do 4 episodes, right? But then I also was in a phase of, what do you want to say? Because this whole time I've been like basically studying podcasts and researching like media and all these things. I realized that everybody's just putting on a personification, and most people are talking about the same shit, and like everybody says they want to create impact, but then the impact that they seem like they're trying to create seems like it's the narrative that they're saying they're trying to do, but then it's like, in reality, the reason why everybody's podcast seems duplicated is because they're just reciting the same shit. But it's cool. And I'm going to be honest, that's what I didn't want to do with my podcast. Like, I know that I had told you guys that the intention is to basically talk about and have elevating conversations about personal development, entrepreneurship, and then all things cannabis. But I also wanted to have impact in what I say, and I'm very, very careful about the things that I say now. I realize that my words have power. My voice is very like powerful and strong, and you're going to feel me regardless, right? And I learned a little bit ago that you can kind of choose, like, you can set the intention for what your powers and your gifts are. And I realized I didn't want to harm anybody anymore with my words. I realized that I wanted everything that I say to bring peace to people. I wanted it to elevate someone. I wanted it to touch someone. I wanted it to motivate someone, and I wanted someone to feel seen. And when I was doing my old episodes and I was doing my old interviews, it did not align with that. Like, some of them did, and a few of them, you'll see them continuously in the future still pop up, but you will see them pop back on to the podcast. But most of the time it's because I fell in love with their story. I fell in love with their soul, and like, I want to see where their journey goes. Like, I don't like to basically interview, and I don't want to, that is my intention, like, and I'm going to be standing on that boundary. I don't want to interview people unless it's going to be like where it's an elevating conversation and we align. Like, I want to make sure I align with them. Like, I don't want to ever press anyone else's boundaries as well. So it's like, I just want to make sure that our mission aligns. You're creating impact in your own way. And yeah, so recently I decided I was just going to go ahead and go for it. Like, I'm going to show up for myself no matter what that looks like. I'm not going to be recording bullshit content. Like, I want, when someone hears the podcast, I just want them to feel like, wow, like, I feel elevated from this conversation. I feel empowered. Like, I feel like I'm about to take on this day. And so, yeah. Thank you guys for sticking with me for the first reality check that I've had in a long time. And I want you guys to hold me accountable. And like, of course, this podcast, Infused Queen Tea Podcast, is all about educating and elevating the narrative on cannabis. And so we're going to get into it with a little bit of a cute little unboxing. I already unboxed, but we're going to unbox again together. And so let's get into it. All right, so this month I'm going to go ahead. We're going to kick off the end of this month. The last, well, it's technically the first, and it's going to be the last episode for September. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with the weed box. Okay, so for the people who don't know, let me tell you about the weed box, and let me show you the weed box, okay? Okay, hold on. That wasn't even, that was, all right, we did it. So the weed box is a monthly subscription. It's not technically a subscription like how, let me think of something that have it. Just Fab was one of those where it took it like monthly. A few of the makeup boxes that I know that I've tried in the past, they do it too. But this one is a monthly subscription that you can basically buy once a month. You don't have to technically subscribe a monthly to, but they release a box monthly, and it's like different items, different themes, and it's all things elevated friendly. Okay, so let's get into this. The box that I got, show you a few of the contents. I know you can see it. I already unwrapped a lot of the stuff. Ooh, let me remove this. But y'all didn't hear that, see that. So basically, let me get into that. The box that I got is the mini box for September. They have one box that's larger. It had a dope ass cool like blue little monster type bong type dab vibe rig situation. I'm not even telling what it is. But I didn't get that box, so it doesn't matter. I don't know what's in that box because I didn't get that box. How about that? So the box I got was the mini box, and this shit was cute and essential too. Definitely price friendly. Go check it out. This box is like a $19 box, and then shipping, and then I think they have like a discount code, so it's like if you purchase your first box, it's even cheaper. Boom. Let's get into a few things that they got. They also have like, this is the little insert that they put with it, and it's basically win a free box. Post a picture of your box and include weed box logo, and you tag hashtag the weed box in the post, and you'll be entered into their monthly mega box giveaway. And that's the box I'm talking about that has like all the cool shit in it. So yeah, check it out. First thing I loved about this is they gave us a zigzag hemp cone. It's Granddaddy Perp for herbal use. I always say herbal. Y'all gonna have to get on me. But it's a terp cone. Like, yes. They give you 2. And I'm feeling it. And let's go ahead and see what else they got up here. They got this cute little scratch off. It's called a Kush card. Scratch the scratch zone to win. Ooh. Have this cute little piece that goes to the rig that's in here. I can put it up there so y'all can see it a little bit. Then they gave us this hip wick, 3-foot wick. Found it. This is the fire lighter that they gave me to go. You know, if you've never, so little cannabis or a little smoking education, apparently it's healthier for you to smoke with a hemp wick than it is to use the lighter because of, I guess, the butane in the lighter. When you light it and the combustion, it's better and healthier for you to smoke with these. Like, so you were to, let me show you. You get a little piece, see? Like here, boom. And then at the time, like, if I had something. But yeah, that is a hemp wig. And that is the September mini weed box. So yeah, check them out. They are on Instagram. They do have a website. I'll put it inside the description. And that is all. I was over here trying to make sure I put it out. That is all for this week's episode of Infused Queen Tea Podcast reality check. Stay tuned for what's next. I don't even know what's next, but we're gonna see what's next. Stay tuned for next Thursday, and then also check out our Patreon. Like, check out your girl on Patreon under Infused Queen Tea Podcast. We post daily affirmations so let me get into it because mine's different. Infused affirmations, and then we also have weekly blog posts that go out on Wednesdays. Not Wednesdays, sorry, I lied to y'all. Monday. So check it out. Like, give me feedback. Tell me what you guys want to see in the comments, and tell me what you guys want to see on the blog post, and tell me what y'all want to see for Infused Queen Tea Podcast. All right, you guys, stay high vibrational.